When insiders say Sicario 3 has been confirmed by producer Trent Luckenbill, I can't help but think of the original Sicario as something that just captured lightning in a bottle. It came out of nowhere with an amazing cast and crew, and everything just clicked. But now, I'm a little worried the third movie might not live up to it. Plus, with Denis Villeneuve making Sicario 3 seeming pretty impossible, it's hard to see it happening. But hey, Hollywood's basically a factory for churning out sequels these days, so who are we to judge? Even if we do, what impact would my little channel have? Anyway, let's dive into what we know about Sicario 3. People often say Sicario is one of Taylor Sheridan's best works, and it really helped launch Denis Villeneuve, you know, the guy behind Dune and Blade Runner 2049, as a major Hollywood director. The film's score by the late Jóhann Jóhannsson and the stunning visuals from Roger Deakins just make the story even more powerful. But what really stood out were the performances from Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin. They absolutely nailed their roles. We did get a solid sequel, Day of the Soldado, back in 2018, but ever since then, fans have been hoping for a Sicario 3 that brings the whole gang back together. The thing is, there's not even a script yet. In a recent interview, Thunder Road's Films' Basil Iwanek and Erica Lee talked about their other hit, John Wick, but we had to ask about Sicario. Erica mentioned that they've been discussing a third movie and are figuring out what story could work. She said, "We'd love to make a third, and I think the actors are on board, but we need to find the right next chapter." She also pointed out how Denis set the bar high, and everyone involved has gone on to do amazing things. They're still figuring out how to bring the whole crew back for a third movie. Basil added that it's tough to get all the actors together since they're all super busy, but if they can nail down a great script, he's confident they'd all be in. He emphasized that the actors love their roles and the movies, and they have great friendships. The real challenge now is making sure the script is solid enough to get everyone excited and willing to carve out time in their schedules. And while Day of the Soldado was a great film, they all agree it'd be ideal to get Denis and Taylor back on board for the third one. So while we're still in the dark about many details surrounding Sicario 3, one thing's for sure: the producers want to bring Blunt, Del Toro, and Brolin back for another round. They believe there's still a great story to tell with these characters. Josh Brolin even confirmed that they're working on a script, saying, "It's out there, we think it deserves a third one if we can make it in the way that we want to make it." Even though Hollywood announcements are often up in the air, this still gives hope for those of us eagerly waiting for the next chapter in the Sicario saga. Emily Blunt really stole the show as Kate Mercer in the first movie, and her performance is a big reason why Sicario still stands out as the better of the two films. She added a whole new layer to the story, grappling with the moral issues at play while being surrounded by morally gray characters. Her interactions with Alejandro and Matt gave us some of the best moments in the film. So, if she were to return for Sicario 3, it would definitely bring some much-needed depth to the script. Plus, it'd be interesting to see how she's changed after everything she went through in the first movie. Now, when it comes to why Blunt didn't return for Day of the Soldado, it's not just because of her busy schedule. The film's producers had a solid storytelling reason. In the first Sicario, Kate and Reggie were among the few morally sound characters. For the sequel, they wanted to focus on the lawlessness and corruption that permeated both the government and the communities affected by it, and excluding Kate was a way to reinforce that theme. But her return in Sicario 3 could offer a more jaded version of Kate, bringing a whole new dynamic to the story. Although Day of the Soldado wasn't a failure, it did miss Kate's character, and it would have been a lot stronger with her in the mix. She was the character audiences could relate to, and her moral conflict with Alejandro and Matt brought a lot of the film's tension. While Del Toro and Brolin gave solid performances, the movie could have really used Kate's ethical perspective, especially when dealing with the corrupt officials. If Blunt returns for the third film, the interactions between Kate and the rest of the crew could be incredibly intriguing, given all that's happened between them. In the end, the magic of Sicario came from both Denis Villeneuve's direction and Emily Blunt's grounded portrayal of Kate. Even though Villeneuve might be too tied up with Dune to return for Sicario 3, there's still hope that Blunt could come back. After everything Kate went through in the first movie, she'd likely return much more cynical and hardened, making her a fascinating character to explore in the sequel. If they manage to bring Blunt back, it could be just what Sicario 3 needs to address some of the issues Day of the Soldado had. All things our side the ending of Sicario Day of the Soldado sets the stage for a thrilling third installment by suggesting that Alejandro will have an apprentice of sorts, someone to assist him in infiltrating the cartel from within in his quest for Reyes. This mission could serve as the main overarching narrative, setting Alejandro loose as a one-man force on a dangerous path that will inevitably lead to confrontations with the authorities, as he now operates independently, no longer tied to government mandates. However, the true intrigue for Sicario 3 lies in the reintroduction of Emily Blunt's Kate Mercer. The producers are eager to bring her back, and with the direction the story is heading, her return feels almost necessary. In Day of the Soldado, we saw Matt's own moral questioning mirror what Kate went through in the first film, making it clear that both characters are now ideologically more aligned than they ever thought possible. This connection, and the inevitable tensions or potential collaborations between them, could add another compelling layer to the already volatile mix of the story. As the hitman and the agent find themselves on parallel but diverging paths, their interactions will be just as riveting as any cartel clash. As a result, Sicario 3 could explore the war from three distinct angles: Kate's idealism, Matt's morally gray tactics as a government agent, and Alejandro's ruthless, no-holds-barred approach to warfare. This triad of perspectives promises to fuel dramatic conflict and dynamic storytelling, potentially giving the third film a unique and multifaceted narrative approach. While Sicario Day of the Soldado is often considered murkier in its presentation, mainly due to its more ambiguous exploration of the American drug war and its less clear-cut message, it undeniably sets up the pieces for the next chapter. Despite its ambiguity, the film succeeds in positioning the characters and conflicts in such a way that Sicario 3 could delve deeper into the ideological and tactical divide between Kate, Matt, and Alejandro. The groundwork laid in the sequel makes it clear that the third movie will be a critical moment for all these characters as the war takes on even more complex, layered dimensions. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay updated on all the latest movie news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. By doing so, you'll stay in the loop with all our future updates. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Remember, we're always open to your suggestions for future videos, so feel free to leave them in the comments below.